It's 935 K-Day's Morning Show with your boy Romeo, and I've been honored and blessed to be in this game for a long time, and I've had a chance to sit down with a lot of great people that I consider legends in hip-hop. Yeah. But I consider you, Chuck D, as royalty in hip-hop, and I say that from the heart because you're the reason I have a job. I just had this conversation with Sugar Hill Gang a couple weeks ago on the cruise.
Oh, wow.
Because you're part of the foundation of hip-hop. You helped build, this is the first hip-hop station in the world, 935 K-Day, and thanks to what you put into the game, you allow us to have this. So for that, thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. But I also stood on the shoulders of giants that made me, you know, have a step where I was. So, you know, that's how it should be. You know, you stand on the shoulders of giants, you help somebody else even sprout. You know, like more than flowers, you show somebody a garden where they could pick their own stuff. So that's what it's about. It's vast opportunities in hip hop and rap music, and I've been studying music since the '60s. So a lot of times I look side-eyed at the rock world.
Yeah,
because they really curate. They take care. They have great what they call public relations. They have fantastic human resources. The people that come in from all levels are respected, just like your rock stars at the top. We could do a lot more with hip hop in the same vein. So that's why I interject with trying to make comparisons and tell everybody, man, this is a thing that we could take care of and at least make it what rock is.
Can we do that? Because we hear so much of the conversation right now, like, oh, should you age out in hip hop and things of that nature? You never hear that in rock. If you're still out there doing your thing, to me, they're allowing you to do that. Speaking of, we're going to get to you guys in Guns N' Roses. That's pretty awesome coming up.
Yeah.
So I want to take a journey with you, Chuck D, because this is my first time I have a chance to sit down with you.
We're going to go back to Noah's Ark.
Can we do that?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Growing up, you know, I see the Sugar Hill Gang, I see Grandmaster Flash, the Furious Five. You know, the message comes out, and it's powerful for someone like me hearing it the first time because I can visualize what he's talking about.
Right.
Public Enemy comes along, and what you guys put on that record, talking about waking people up and making them understand and making them realize what's around them. Was that always your approach to it? Like when you first got into this game, was that something you knew you wanted to do, or you just wanted to do hip hop because you loved it?
I wanted to do radio. We all were radio guys, and I was asked by Rick Rubin. So we were so good at it. Rick was like, "Come on, make some records." I just started a company called Def Jam.
Yeah.
And I rejected him for 2 years because we wanted to be big in radio like all you guys. We couldn't because it had corporate tape that kept us. They were like, hip-hop, you know, there ain't nothing to actually have any. It's not going to do anything radio-wise, financially and stuff like that. So we surrendered and had to do records. And that's and basically that mentality went over into creating Public Enemy, where we brought the whole damn community and nation into making, I guess, a recording group.
Yeah.
But it had that same mentality of, you know, strength by numbers. And when I came down to writing songs, you know, I had already graduated out of college in 1984.
Yeah.
So I had been asked to do records since 1985 and 4. And then, you know, like, I think every song, if you writing lyrics, it should be about something. If you talk about making love, at least be detailed.
Yeah, true.
Or sing real well where you ain't got to be detailed. But if you rapping, you got to use words. And your words, you know, can't just be and grunts. So I was able to, you know, do a lot of things. And, you know, when you make records and write lyrics, it's about truncation. Being able to take something like, is this much, and break it down to this much.
Yeah.
So that's what made our lyrics a little different, is because I developed a skill of saying a lot, but in a few words as possible.
So
and sprinkling some flavor on it.
Yeah, but the thing is,
flavor on it.
The songs that you've done and that you did is like, is it something that you experienced? Is what you saw every day? What you saw was not fair to our communities? Like you were that person that was speaking on behalf of that, and I even feel like it was just. During that time, first of all, I feel like racism comes back around like clothes every 20, 30 years. It gets strong again, right?
All the isms now, you got sexism now, you got ageism.
Yeah, you got all that. But to say that back then, for you to have lyrics like Elvis was a hero the most, but he never meant shit to me, and say it, what people were thinking but didn't really want to say, Where did that come from? To be like, no, this is how I feel, and I'm going to say it. Like,
The Fight the Power was a soundtrack for Do the Right Thing.
right. Mm-hmm.
And if a lot of people, as we're going forward, people have detached Fight the Power and never seen Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
So therefore, they don't have the context of where that line even comes from. There's a line in Do the Right Thing that has Giancarlo Esposito saying, "Hey Sal, how come there ain't no black people on the wall?"
Yeah.
So there, it's talking about heroes in America, Americana, because Sal had formidable Italian Americans that represented his community and his family on the wall of his pizzeria in a neighborhood that used to be Italian, but also had blacks moving in as Italians moved out to the suburbs.
Right.
But he still stayed there, and his wall stayed the same. We're gonna have like De Niro, DiMaggio, Scorsese on the wall, but no black people. So Giancarlo Esposito says, ain't no black people on the wall. So when I write the third verse to Fight the Power, I just named American icons and say, well, we got heroes too.
Yeah.
Now, I was kind of like half and half because Elvis was a bad boy.
No, he
You know what I'm
he
saying?
was.
Yeah, but he wasn't the king because he learned from black artists to make him what he was.
Facts.
But John Wayne was a POS. And I knew that from Jim Brown's book, Out of Bounds. So I just put it in there, and I got the style from that style on that verse from a record by an artist named Blowfly, who made a cut called Blowfly Rap, who did the same kind of parody about a KKK member talking about Muhammad Ali. But that's another long story. But that's how I fixed that third verse.
But was there any pushback when you putting out these records that you did that impacted and resonated for us as a label? They supported 100%, or like we didn't see what you guys had to go through when you weren't on stage? Was there a lot of pushback, kind of like what NWA had to go through?
No.
None.
There was no pushback.
Love that.
We had the posse of posses. Yeah, I mean, we performed what we wanted. I mean, because we didn't say anything derogatory.
Right.
We were very clear what we said. We were very factual, and very scholarly, and very polite.
Yeah.
So I mean, where you gonna get pushback from?
Well,
any pushback is going to just be ignorant.
Well, that's true, and we got a lot of that in this country.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Us and NWA were two different acts.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're talking about that because obviously you were right, but I do understand that their message was totally different than what you guys were doing.
It was like in the same line. It was like I'm black and I'm trying to grow up, and I see something in front of me and I don't like it, and this is how I'm going to answer to it. NWA might have been about in the streets, and Public Enemy was telling you who ran the streets, who owned the streets.
Yeah.
Who names the streets? How often do you see a block and you look up at the name and know what it is? And why is it named that? This is just a new phenomenon when you start seeing black names, on street signs.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
a new century thing, new centurion thing.
Absolutely.
But if you look at the names of streets in any city and don't question why it's named, then what you're doing is cutting short some history that might inform you on how to walk or live on them streets in the future and present.
Dropping gems right now. K-Day Morning Show with your boy Romeo and Chuck D. Obviously, you and Flavor Flav, you guys met. You guys were in school when you guys met? Is that what kind of happened?
I was in school, and he was in the neighborhood, and the radio stations where everybody happened to meet. We had the gigs there. It was a melting pot, and it was funny because me in college, there's a few other of my cohorts, and we it's like, you get a foot in,
Yeah.
you let the whole damn town in. So it was we were registered there, but it'd be bringing hundreds from the community up there. They couldn't really tell people no, but it's almost like down here. Like you go to USC. USC is like on the edges of the hood, right? If they got something popping off on USC, today they got security. Back in the day, they didn't have security. Like, who's going to be hanging out at a college?
Yeah, that's
right.
True. Yeah.
But today it's a anything can happen. But back then it was like, okay, that's the place to be because we made it the place to be, and we're gonna get this building and it's gonna happen. So that was you're talking 50 years ago.
So when you guys met, you and Flavor Flav, some people look at that relationship on stage and be like, yo, like they're so different, but yet it makes so much sense. Did you guys know that right off the bat that would work?
Well, number one, I didn't try to do records, but when it came down to putting it together, I knew that would work because I knew he would be everything that I wasn't. I'm not an upfront person. I'd rather be heard, not seen.
Gotcha.
Matter of fact, I'm the person that always get that camera up out of here. And you got 3 seconds.
Yeah.
You got 10 seconds to take pictures and go. But now, fast forward, we in the picture taking society.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
People are screen agers.
Yeah, that
From
is so
5
true.
to 90, they screen agers. They
Yeah.
live their life through the screen. They work through the screen. They live through the screen. They date through the screen. They addicted to the screen. So you want to get a real passion out of somebody? Take their phone and smash it against a wall and see what happens.
Yeah. They're gonna lose their mind first of all.
Exactly.
You already know.
That's how attached they are.
They have us controlled like that, and that's so sad to see. But I deal with that every day with my 12-year-old son. Every day it's a struggle with me. It really is.
It's a digital nipple.
Yeah, it definitely is. So now here we are. Public Enemy is doing their thing, and I'm glad we talked about NWA a little bit because I hear Ice Cube speak about it all the time. How you really helped him out when he broke away from NWA and he was doing his own thing. How did y'all friendship even start before you just kind of like helped him out in that situation, so to speak? Because he praises you for that.
Well, it's simple. On tour. And Public Enemy played with NWA on quite a few shows. Eric B. and Rakim, all the greats. And the thing is that when Cube wanted to do his solo record, they didn't have the record company wasn't set up to do that at the time that he was ready to do it. And Cube didn't want to leave NWA. It's just that it was like, okay, maybe a year and a half from now. And back then in the day, hip hop was week by week, by month, especially on the OK day, they was popping off, joints every 2 weeks. So Cube wanted to be in that rhythm, but releasing the album in that situation was going to still be like almost like 10 years from now.
Right.
So he's ventured out to try to do his first solo record, and I encouraged him like, yeah, you could do your solo record, but also be inside NWA at the same time. That way you could tour. That way you could still do pieces of it. And even when NWA is busy with Easy and Dre doing their thing, you could venture off and then slowly move into your own thing. But different things happen. He had to come up with a sense of urgency. He came east, and this is in anything. It's like big brother mentor, like whether it's sports.
Yeah.
And if you're a Laker fan, you would hope that LeBron take Luka under his wing and be like Apollo Creed and get him running on beaches.
Yeah. He needs to.
You know what I'm saying? And who better to learn from than LeBron, right?
That part, yes.
On how to get your body and mind right?
Yeah.
So same thing. Q said, I'm looking for some help. I tried to stay out of the way, and then it was unavoidable. And I remember like yesterday where I said, listen, you already the star. So you already know what you do. Sometimes you just need a reminder to tell you how great you are and show you some techniques. But then the way we always would do it was like show you the way, a couple ways, boom, 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 realign you, and then you're gonna have your own wings. And Cube ain't never looked back. He is the genius of hip hop, man, for almost half a century. He don't get credit for. People would look at him and they'd be like, all right, yeah, Big Three started a basketball league. He done did classic, not just movies.
No.
He done did classic films.
Yeah.
That got memorable bars and lines in it that people live with without even watching it.
Yeah, he does.
But they fail to realize he's one of the GOATs of all time with the mic and performance, because that's two different things. You get a lot of times people just, get on the mic, they make nice records, but you see them, you'll be like, damn, their performance don't match their records. Cube will make a record that blow your mind and perform that record at the same high level.
So he'll give you the same energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. And I just love the fact the way he lights up when we talk about that situation when you were there for him. Like, I mean, that he's forever grateful for that. And I know you know that for sure.
Yeah, but you don't deserve credit. Your job is to help mentor a path, and then it has its own wings. So I'm grateful that we had opportunity to work together and be lifelong friends and pick up where we left off. I could not talk to Cube for like maybe a year or two, and we pick up where we left off. And we tell people all the time in society that's a good way to look at life. That you want to be able to have a constant flow with somebody, be there in need or whatever, but you pick up where you left off and try to make it good. It's not really, and that's how we learn from the rock guys,
Yeah.
the sports guys. Why can't it be that in hip hop? Why can't we say words like beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We can't say words like beautiful. It's all got to always be ugly. I mean, I like making ugly music. I like being on the ugly side.
Right.
But I could say beautiful every once in a while, too.
And ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
We're going to get to your new project, but real quick, I want to ask you, being a huge part of the beginning of hip-hop and being in the game for so long, seeing where it's going and where it's at now, with Kendrick and Drake and things of that nature, how do you feel about hip-hop? Like, are you satisfied in the direction that it's going? Or if you could show them a lifesaver or something to change the directions, what would Chuck D say to hip-hop?
Well, if you compare it to the rock, hip hop is been too top heavy for like 30 years, meaning that where's the bottom people being sufficed and serviced? Where the people in the middle being sufficed? We're not just talking about artists. How about where the publicists? Where's the managements and administrations? Or are they also able to plug into hip hop and make a living? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why it's all right? Well, we get it. It's like Drake over here, and we're always talking about the guys on the top, but Los Angeles has had rappers and DJs for like 50 years.
Yeah.
Can they come to power and actually, or K-Day, and actually, get somebody in here? Could they be an independent company and actually prosper? So these are some of the problems I've always had with hip hop, to the point where it's top heavy. The corporate feed the top, but the bottom doesn't suffice and have a foundation. They do a lot better out in the western part than they have done in the eastern part, the place of a million MCs and DJs. But like I said, I'm a sports fan.
Yeah.
And when you watch sports, there's not always talk about LeBron.
Nope.
But you talk about so many people that's on the come up, those in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those in high school,
coming
up through the rites of passage and stuff like that. So, and then same thing with the rock. With rock, somebody like playing and on a certain level, and you find out they playing bass, in Sepultura. So they got their thing organized, and I like to see hip hop get organized too. And big up to the greatest hip hop group of these times and one of the GOATs of all time. My brother's Cypress Hill.
Yeah,
because they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They have done things that no other rap group has done. They've gone around the world and been able to spit in 2 languages. Be Real, Sin Dog, Eric Bobo, and also DJ Lord, who DJ'd for PE for 20 years. That's a fearsome foursome, and they just did a concert film in Royal Albert Hall in London with an orchestra. Yeah, y'all got to check that out.
Yeah.
To me, it's Cypress Hill and the Lox.
Wow. That's dope that you say that. And, to me, I feel like Cypress Hill has never had this kind of love. You're right. But they've always maintained, and they just say so powerful, and they bring out great records. So I'm glad you mentioned them.
For the powers that be to ignore the consistency and the grace. Remember, grace is grace is not easy, man, in hip-hop.
Yeah.
The grace of a guy like Be Real, man, he be a saint and a king in another life. Because they have been the epitome of a group that has treated their fans better than any other act in hip hop history. And that needs to be talked about and rewarded, especially in a city where they come from. Shouts
out to Cypress Hill. Well, let's talk about the new project, man. Radio Armageddon, of course, excited about that. It's here. And talk about the new tour. What motivated Chuck D to go ahead and do this latest project?
Well, the producer of the project is C-Doc, and he's the Brian Eno of hip-hop. And I say that, and people don't know who Brian Eno is. Once again, in the rock world, he's the guy that does U2. So his style of beat changes and sudden left turns, I think, is the future of hip hop, because he's able to find a new toolbox on how to do production. So going full circle, my beginnings in radio, it was a project to do with Def Jam, which was in my beginnings. But I also saw the work that at Tunji, the CEO of modern Def Jam, had conversations with him to work with the company, look at rap catalog as being really caretaken and curating. instead of being undertaken and treated with negligence. And so I went over there, and this is the project. You know, to be able to go there, see, Radio Armageddon even has no beginning and no end. Does it sound like a mixtape? Nah, it sounded like a mixtape at a radio station, you know, with DJ Shadow running into Paul's Boutique with Wu-Tang Clan hanging outside, dipped in acid. It ain't even meant to be liked, Romeo. The record ain't even meant to be liked. It's meant to almost be like, this is a radio station from another galaxy that's meant to kind of jar and knock the inside of your brain out of your head.
Sound like a journey I want to be a part of, though. I ain't gonna lie about that.
maybe as long as it don't crack your vertebrae. But you know, it's a fun ride, and it also introduces me. I'm coming through there doing a certain MC rhyme style that really introduces rappers doing their thing. People like Philmos Chill, Miranda Wrights, MC Half Pint. It's like doing the things that we've done on our radio stations. I have a 12-station app that I created years ago called Rap Station. People could get both apps I created, rstvapp.com. I created Rap Station, 12 station channels, just the way that like they put together Sirius XM.
Yeah.
I've had that for years, and also Bring the Noise app, which you could get at the Google Play stores and also Apple stores. And Bring the Noise is basically like TikTok. So everybody screaming about, where the TikTok going? Why you worry about that? I got the Bring the Noise app. And we're moving on up. So, and let me tell you, I'm not just the guy sitting around like, oh, my app guy is back there making something. No, I'm in the kitchen. It ain't like I made 8 apps. We made 2, and then they're doing very well and looking for even more and more. Even probably go up to Silicon Valley and say, what's up, y'all?
Yeah.
Get involved, because it's the world's first cultural app.
Love that.
So Radio Armageddon comes out of all the parts and participations. It's like, you probably remember this slightly, Romeo. Remember you in an old, well, then again, there's a lot of people out here that got old cars. Even some of them want to keep the old stereos. It works like you pushing them buttons.
Yeah.
Chakoom, 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 chakoom. So even if you hear it on, let's say, Apple Tunes, and even if you got it in shuffle, it still don't disrupt the flow of the album. It's definitely jarring.
And that was the whole approach to putting this together. That's how it came to life.
Yeah, it's an ugly record.
Yeah.
It ain't no pretty in it.
Not mad at that, though.
You know.
Not mad at that at
but,
all.
it's the title, Radio Armageddon. It's like a radio station dipped in acid.
And, of course, we got that dropping now, the tour. I'm excited about seeing that.
Well, the tour is Public Enemy. That's a whole different thing.
Right.
I got, when we do Public Enemy, it's more conventional to what that is. I got showed them all in Bottle Rock, PE.
Okay.
PE is his own thing. You got to go at that because it's like Led Zeppelin. When it does its thing, there's nothing bigger.
No, you're right.
Like, you could take all the Super Bowls and all those acts and all the NBA things. P is just it's bigger around the world. It's bigger than all that. It's like I'm just a member in its thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I
well, yeah.
I'm like,
but
I gotta give you more than that, though.
Yeah, but it is. It's bigger than the sum of its parts. I mean, me and Flavor are riding a wave of something that we've traveled the world over. 40 years? So when you plant seeds in 117 countries, when you up in one area, you might be down in one area, but it's like we can't really tour anymore like that.
Yeah.
Because it's never a place that don't want to see us.
Yeah. You be booked 365 days out of the year.
And what kind of life is that? You gotta be homes.
Gotta balance it at some point.
You can't. It's too big.
Man.
So you gotta pick your spots, especially at our age at being sexagenarians. So you pick your spot, go there, play in front of 80,000 people, and I'm on a plane to get back to my normal lives.
Yeah.
Man,
well,
but it's a blessing, though.
No, it really is. And you've changed lives, and you've just really helped a lot of people. I'm not sure if you know that, to get your flowers for that. Like, I just Public Enemy, what it did for me growing up, and just wanting to get into just appreciating hip hop alone. You're one of the main reasons why. Otherwise, I think about that Boogie Down Productions. I think about those other groups. So I just want to salute you and give you your flowers, man.
Well, we call them flowers. It's still spelled the same.
Okay.
And then
Give your flowers.
Your flowers, right? But then what I do is I give everything away.
Yeah.
I never bought a new car. I only want 8 pair of shirts, and I only want 4 pair of pants, and 8 pair. You gotta get socks and underwear though.
Gotta have that.
You can't.
That's necessary.
Yeah, that's necessary. You can't go around being old and funky.
Just not even knowing you, I just feel like from what I've seen, just the way you carry yourself, that's who you are. It's like you've never been flashy. It's not about having this or that. It's just this is what you do, and we love you for that. So
I'm a black hippie before Kendrick Lamar. Which
that sums it up right there.
I love that group, Black Hippie. I think I want Kendrick to bring back Black Hippie.
You hear that, K-Dot? Let's get to it.
Man, that was something. And then that dude, man, he's what you call a 360 performer. Because, his songs, it makes the records. The record is cool.
Right.
But he performs the record, like I told you about Q.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people ask me about, the battle and all that, it's a million MCs out there doing incredible. I mean, Brother Ali, there's a million MCs out there who are classic in the middle and also jump starting. Then you got those that's under 20. They got their own weird style.
Yeah.
That that we have to say we were weird too. So that I did one of the songs off of Radio Armageddon. It has no beginning and no end.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not singles. They're like shavings. Like when you have I don't eat meat, but you go to those places, they got the lamb up there and they start shaving it into gyros. That's probably the sonic offerings that you'll hear off Radio Armageddon. But I would like to say big props and salute out to C-Doc, because he is just incredible. He's created a new style of production called the sudden right turns.
Mm-hmm.
And beat changes, which goes back to the beginnings of hip hop. And he's truly the Brian Eno of rap. But if you don't know who Brian Eno is, that's why you got your computers.
Yeah.
charged to you by Verizon or AT&T or whoever the hell is out there.
Put it to use, damn it.
Oh, God.
No, man, again, thank you so much for stopping by. The West Coast loves you, man. I appreciate you. I grew up in the Midwest, so I was always listening. St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever y'all came to St. Louis, I had to
Mm-hmm.
show up because I knew what y'all going to do for the city, man. So
we have a festival out there in September in St. Louis, and, STL.
Yeah.
Natural
going through
Bridge.
a lot right now with the tornadoes and all that, but they pushing through it. Going through a lot right now. But
So you don't believe in the climate change, huh?
Oh, I believe in it.
Yeah, already the Midwest was hit every once in a while.
Yeah.
And like places like Joplin would get hit
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But now, when you fly over back and forth, underneath you, turbulence all nonstop. So climate change is real. But that's a whole nother subject for another time, right?
And we'll get to that. And you know what else is real? Chuck D and everything you've done, man. Hip-hop
Thanks
history.
everybody in the room. I
man.
appreciate y'all.
Thank you so
And
much.
I'll
for
keep
stopping
doing what
by.
you're doing, man.
Thank you, man. You're a blessing. Thank you again. You helped me get this job. You helped create hip hop, so that's why I'm here. Real talk.
Well, you've helped so many other people too, so that's what it's about.
My man. Get him his flowers.